Welcome to the Pure Fast Detox 3-Day Challenge. To increase your viewing pleasure, please turn off everything that is operating in the background, including any email systems, Skype, iTunes, Dropbox, or any extra programs. Silence your phone, close the door, and give yourself this time to discover how to implement the 3-Day Pure Fast Detox Challenge. Get ready to jot down some notes and any questions, and if you have any questions at all, just email us at info@purehealthyway.com. Okay, let's get started. You are in the right place if you're ready for a reset after travel or periods of toxic or overeating. You're in the right place if you're curious about intermittent fasting and want to give it a try, or if you have never done a detox or a fast before. You're in the right place if you are ready for a timeout from food and sugar addiction, making a break from habitual eating and overeating. You're also in the right place if you want to do a detox or a fast and blood sugar issues have stopped you in the past. And you're in the right place if you want to ignite your motivation and reconnect with your desire to eat healthy and pure, or want to experience the health benefits of doing pure intermittent fasting. Here's what you're going to learn today. So when we use the word detox, we're talking about detaching from toxic eating. So toxic eating is eating foods that mess up your metabolism, health, and weight. And instead, we're going to show you how to use pure food and intermittent fasting to get fantastic results, not only for weight loss, but for health as well. We're also going to show you how to implement the 3-day Pure Fast Detox plan, including recipes and shopping list. We're going to show you how and when to eat specific pure foods for best fasting results. And we're also going to give you tips and practical steps to keep blood sugar balanced during intermittent fasting. At the end of the webinar, we'll be giving you an instant download of our Pure Fast Detox guide, as well as the shopping list and a bonus takeaway of our top 10 pure nourishing recipes for easy intermittent fasting. I'm going to ask you some questions, and you might want to jot down some notes on the things that you can relate to and you can say yes to. Have you had any of these challenges? A bad diet growing up, creating a lifetime of bad habits? Have you ever gained weight for no reason? Or have you ever been given drugs or chemicals for a cure and that made things worse, including adding weight? Are you someone who's constantly thinking about food and wanting to eat or sneak food or cheat? And have you ever had any physical challenges that are diet related? For example, headaches, spaciness, foggy-headed, blood sugar crashes, feeling shaky, irritable, tired all the time, can't concentrate or focus, no energy, depressed, or anxiety? And have you ever experienced any of these symptoms when you don't eat, when you have low blood sugar, for example, or as a result of eating too much sugar? So take a look at this list of symptoms, and you'll notice that some of them are highlighted in red. And those are all the symptoms that I used to live with on an everyday basis for years and years of my life before I learned how to eat pure and become healthy. For those of you who don't know me, here's my story. I grew up with British parents who moved to America when I was 4, and they were delighted to discover all the new American fast foods. And I was raised on a pathetic man-made diet of fast foods, additives, and preservatives. And I had a dad who weighed well over 350 pounds, And if we weren't having morning tea time, we were having afternoon tea time, or we were having dessert after dinner, or I came home from school and we would have an array of Hostess cupcakes and ding dongs and Twinkies. By the time I was 10, I was already receiving Demerol shots for my debilitating migraines. Next came hypoglycemia, where sometimes I would lose my vision and my hearing and pass out. And I would even have to get up a couple times in the night just to eat my way till morning to balance my blood sugar. Growing up, I went to Beverly Hills High School, and let me tell you, it was no picnic to go to Beverly Hills High School. In fact, the picnic ended in fourth grade when I started my first diet. I was constantly obsessed with how I looked and how I weighed, and in my mind, I always wanted to aspire to look like the girls in the top left picture. This is a picture with my two best friends in high school, and I was constantly on yo yo diets. In fact, at the time of this picture, I was doing the latest fad diet, the grapefruit diet. Growing up, I had a really poor immune system and I was constantly sick. I caught colds all the time. By the time I was 18, I was addicted to nasal spray and nicotine. I've spent many, many days in bed because of mono, Epstein Barr, and chronic fatigue, as well as having debilitating insomnia and anxiety attacks. This is a picture of my dad when he was dying of colon cancer and diabetes. And sadly, he actually ate his way into these diseases. And to the right is a picture of one of my sisters. So as you can see, both my dad and my sister and my mom, actually, all three of them were obese. Given the eating habits and foods that I grew up with, I could have easily joined them in obesity. Here I am at age 33 after doing another yo-yo diet. And at this point, I was looking pretty thin, although inside my mind, I thought I wasn't. Here I am 6 years later as a mom with my daughter on the merry-go-round with a very bloated belly. And I thought that I ate healthy because I shopped at a health food store. Never mind that I was still eating processed and packaged foods. Just months after that picture was taken, I got poisoned by the off-gassing molecules of oil-based paint. I had taken a shower and my pores were all open, and I was standing over a forced heating vent in the floor, and I had painted some trim in my house and some furniture. And what I didn't know was that when the molecules of this oil-based paint got circulated through the heating system, they became extremely volatile and toxic. Next thing I knew, I had passed out and I was in an ambulance being taken to the hospital, where I spent 6 hours on IV. My entire endocrine system shut down and I was completely a mess. I got sent home with a fistful of pills, but unfortunately, doctors didn't really know how to help me recover, as I became extremely sensitive to all chemicals, all synthetic foods and drugs. There were times when people had to feed me and I couldn't even open my eyes. And I literally had to pray my way through the day. It took months and months and months to recover. And I had to learn to eat all pure and raw. And this is back about 20 years ago when it wasn't so hip to eat raw and it wasn't so easy to access all this great information on the internet. So I literally sometimes had to pray my way through the day, and I had to just be quiet and listen intuitively to what it was that my body needed. And the strangest thing began to happen. I started to hear and get sort of visions and impressions of recipes to make and foods to eat. And I would try these things and I would get great results. So for the next year and a half in my recovery, I experimented becoming a raw vegan. I got some good recovery in the beginning of my journey healing from being poisoned, but then I spent many months with chronic fatigue and suffering with blood sugar issues. And you can see in this photo that I was still struggling with excess toxins and unwanted weight. I spent all of my time reading and researching nutrition and how to gain back my health. And I started to put into practice the things that I was understanding and also gleaning intuitively. I began to learn how to intuitively eat and to cook. And there were several key ahas that made all the difference in my recovery. Number one was listening to what my body needed, not what was popular. Even though I was very attached to being an all raw vegan, I had to really tune in and realize that in order to manage my blood sugar issues, I needed to introduce more quality animal protein into my diet. And it was a very hard thing to do because I was very attached to this idea of being an all raw vegan. The next discovery for my health and weight loss was to learn how to eat to balance my blood sugar properly. This has become a key foundational principle in everything that we teach. And interestingly enough, the final thing I learned was how my relationship with food was much like a bad or dysfunctional relationship. In my recovery process, I realized that I used food and food controlled me, and we had an on again, off again relationship. And I used it when I felt lonely, sad, or bored. Can you relate to that? For example, do you have your favorite go to foods like chocolate or mashed potatoes, your comfort foods that you go to literally for comfort when you're feeling down or blue? Once I learned these foundational things, my health and vitality returned it better than ever. And here you can see a picture of me at age 45. So the people that were there with me, helping me when I was so ill, feeding me and being there with me, they wanted to know what was I doing because they were watching me recover. And they wanted to know if I could write some of my recipes down and come and take some classes with me. I began teaching raw food workshops and I self published my book, Rawsome Recipes. And then a publisher found my book and wanted to make it national, so it got published professionally. Next, I got hired by the CEO of Purium Health Company to write a private health and diet book for this man, Tiny, who was a professional sumo wrestler who was told by his doctor that if he didn't lose a couple 100 pounds, that he would surely die. And so you can see the before and after picture of Tiny here. In the past 20 years, I have been teaching, writing, coaching, and consulting in all kinds of capacities and venues, including multiple interviews in magazines and also contributing articles to various magazines. In 2012, I got remarried to my husband, Jeff, and we moved to far northern Scotland, up near the world famous Finhorn Foundation. We combined my passion for eating healthy with Jeff's similar passion, along with his science and engineering background, and we spent 2 solid years researching and developing recipes and information related to intermittent fasting. Together, we began to write about the ahas that we had learned and experienced that became transformational and created food freedom for not only ourselves, but people we were coaching and teaching workshops to. And one of the basic things we discovered is that in order to have true health and food freedom, it begins with eating pure food. And then we discovered how much more eating pure food gets enhanced when you combine it with intermittent fasting. The more we practiced intermittent fasting, the more we realized that this was an incredible way to help the body to learn how to balance insulin levels properly, because we discovered that insulin levels drop significantly during intermittent fasting, which in turn helps with fat burning. We also experience the incredible benefits of when the body switches over from burning carbs for fuel into burning fat for fuel. Most people have never had that experience. Have you? If you have never had that experience, you are in for a big treat when you get to feel how great you feel when your body is burning fat for fuel. We were also delighted to discover that the blood levels of human growth hormone may increase as much as fivefold, and higher levels of this hormone facilitate fat burning and muscle gain. We also discovered this process called autophagy. After prolonged periods of fasting, what happens is this process of autophagy removes waste material from the cells, and there are beneficial changes in several genes and molecules which are related to longevity and protection against disease. And now research is showing that fasting has been able to make a wonderful difference and impact with diseases such as type 2 diabetes and even some of cancers. The other foundational piece that became absolutely part of what we term as transformational and food freedom aha is not only was I able to learn intuitive eating and cooking, but we have now been able to teach this to hundreds of other people as well. So here's the thing we have discovered: diets and calorie counting don't work and are not sustainable. And I'm sure if you've been on yo-yo diets, you know what I'm talking about. And clearly, there is not just one diet for everyone, as we've seen some people do well on a low carb diet versus others who do well on a low fat diet. So, a big aha is learning how to eat right for your own metabolic type. And it wasn't until I discovered this very specific thing that I was able to balance my blood sugar properly and learn how to eat properly for what was best for my body. This very thing, learning how to eat for your own metabolic type, could be the very reason why you are unable to let go of unwanted weight. And this is something I teach when I coach people one-on-one, and also we teach this in our Pure Fast and Listen online course as well. We're going to dive into the Pure Fast Detox here in a minute. Obviously, we can't cover everything. We're trying to give you an overview of the broader picture of food freedom and transformation. Jeff and I have created the Pure 5-2 Transformation in 21 Days book, where we have compiled all of the research we did and all of the things that we have found to be foundational. We also have an online course, a very comprehensive course called Pure Fast and Listen. We'll talk about that some more later. And we also have the Pure Healthy Holidays self-paced course. So there's lots of options for you if you want to keep delving into all of this a lot deeper. So no matter where you're at, whether you want to do a quick reset or you want to dive in deeper for lifelong changing transformation, the best place to start is to jump in and take the Pure Fast Detox 3-day challenge. The 3-day challenge is long enough to give you a reflection of where you stand in relationship to food. It also helps you to be able to detach from your food patterns and unhealthy, maybe potentially toxic food eating. So, what is toxic eating? Let's begin with the obvious. For example, peanuts. Peanuts are known to be a toxic food that for some people can be potentially fatal. Sadly, here's another form of toxic eating. So we've seen people who are now going around with these insulin pumps for their diabetes. And sadly, they've eaten their way to diabetes, and they continue to eat how they've always eaten that caused their diabetes. And their mentality is to just think that they can keep eating horribly sugary, toxic foods that create a toxic response, an unhealthy response in their body. And all they have to do is just hit their insulin button and they can carry on, and nothing needs to change. That's toxic eating. And then there's the toxic eating that comes from additives and preservatives. And there's additives known as excitotoxins, and some examples of excitotoxins are aspartame and MSG. And these can be hidden in the ingredients, and they can be called things like yeast extract or natural flavoring. The scary thing about these excitotoxins is that they penetrate the blood-brain barrier, and this is why many believe we're seeing such an increase in things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. And don't even get me started on this form of toxic eating, GMOs. I'm so grateful for the independent research that's come out of France showing how mice given GMOs develop severe cancers after about 3 months of eating genetically modified foods. Make sure to eat GMO-free foods and always eat pure and local and organic as much as possible. Then there's a form of not so obvious toxic eating, and it begins in the mind and it presents as obsessive eating, compulsive eating, binge eating, and then there's what I call diet abuse thinking. For example, for many years, there were diets and whole theories about how it was bad to eat fats, and especially fats like butter. So sadly, there's a lot of re-educating that needs to happen because people have been brainwashed to think different beliefs about the foods they eat or when they eat or how they eat. And what they believe almost is what becomes toxic. And I've saved the most popular for last. And what I'm talking about here is the toxic eating that comes from food addiction and particularly sugar addiction. Did you know that they've likened sugar addiction to be much like cocaine addiction in terms of how it gets stimulated in the brain for addiction? So, are you enslaved to food? And can you relate to this? My life is a constant battle between my love of food and not wanting to be fat. Okay, so here's the thing. Your body is designed to process proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. So when you ingest synthetic foods, GMO foods, foods that have chemicals, preservatives, additives, what happens is your body either treats those substances as poisons and immediately tries to get rid of it, or your body creates fat pockets to store these chemicals. This is why we see a lot of odd-shaped, lumpy, bumpy bodies around with excess fat pockets to store these toxins. Let's look at what happens when your body goes through some fat loss as a result of cutting down calories and maybe exercising. And then what happens is your body starts to increase its toxic density. And then this will result in a rebound effect, in that now your body has kicked up some of the toxins that have been stored. And then your body will then trigger the need to create more fat to store these toxins. And once again, weight will be regained. To get out of this cycle, what needs to happen is all foods that are synthetic or filled with chemicals need to stop being ingested. You need to switch over to eating organic and pure. And cellular cleansing to remove the toxins from the body is what's going to help to create that lean muscle and melt away excess fat. In the meantime, you just have to maintain eating a nutritional balance to help keep the body naturally lean and clean and keep this cleansing of toxins to be an ongoing process. There are two optimal conditions for healthy weight loss to occur properly. Can you guess what they are? The first one is detoxification, which basically means the cleansing of the blood. And this is done by removing impurities from the blood in the liver where the toxins are processed for elimination. The body also eliminates toxins through the kidneys, intestines, lungs, lymph, and skin. And this is why a lot of people are interested in doing detoxes, not only for health and weight loss, but also to clear up their complexion, because the skin is a number one way for toxins to try to escape from the body. The other component that is critical for healthy weight loss is being able to keep your blood sugars stable and balanced. And this will keep your metabolism burning properly for healthy weight loss. You might want to jot down these foods and consider having them as part of your regular diet to help keep your blood sugar stable. All right, all that said, let's look at the 3-day challenge. Step 1, we're going to ask you, and keep in mind, we're only asking you to do this for 3 days, to eliminate all wheat, all gluten, sugar, dairy, alcohol, coffee, soy, and processed foods. Now, we'd like to invite you to join our private Facebook page for the Pure Fast Detox. So just go to facebook.com/group/3-day Pure Fast Detox. And you may need to scroll down on the page to find it, but we've got this list waiting for you for the top 10 foods to eliminate. Just go to our private Facebook page and request to be added as a member. And this is where you can ask questions and get support and get the latest updates about the Pure Fast Detox. So basically, if man made it, don't eat it for 3 days. Now don't worry, there's going to be plenty of good stuff you can eat. We're going to give you a shopping list of the Pure Fast Detox approved foods. So that'll be coming at the end of the webinar as a download. Additionally, here is the list for the top 10 foods to include. Now, we're not going to cover all of these in this webinar, as there's a lot we're doing in just an hour's time, but we will talk about some of these, and this will also be available for you on the private Facebook page. We suggest you do your own research and intuitively pick as many of these as possible that you feel would be good for you on your cleanse, and the more the better, really, for maximum results. Okay, it's pop quiz time. Get out your piece of paper and pen and please write down, if you have limited money to spend on organic, what should be your priority? Would it be fruit or veg or dairy or what, and why? Okay, if you said fats, that's correct. And the reason why is because chemicals bond to fats. So make sure you get all of your animal products, your nuts, your seeds, your avocados, your coconut oil, your olives. All of those need to be your priority first when buying organic foods. Okay, jumping back to the 3-day challenge. Step number 2, no eating past 7 p.m. Think of the kitchen as a switch that gets turned off at 7 p.m. And in fact, go ahead and brush your teeth at 7 o'clock so you won't be tempted to eat past 7. It's fine to drink some herbal teas during the evening, but no more eating past 7. Let's do a quick recap of the 3-day challenge. Okay, so number 1, no processed foods, gluten, dairy, alcohol, caffeine, sugar, or soy. No eating past 7 p.m. And number 3, eat from the approved shopping list. And remember, we're only asking you to take this challenge for 3 days. Are you up for the challenge? We don't expect you to do this perfectly, but we do want you to keep remembering it's all about choice and what it is that you are choosing and what results you want to have as a result of your choices. Now I'm going to give you some tips and suggestions, and I want you to keep in mind that nothing is mandatory, everything is your choice. But we're going to share with you the things that we have found to be most successful with our members and clients. Ideally, you want to be fasting for about 16 hours and have a window of eating for about 8 hours. Now, if you've never done this before, it's perfectly acceptable and understandable to want to pace your way into this. So let's say you close the kitchen down at 7 and you've brushed your teeth and you're not going to eat past 7 and you wake up at 7 in the morning. Well, there you've already fasted for 12 hours, and a lot of those hours you've slept through it. Okay, so if you wake up at 7 or 8 or even 9 and you wake up and you're hungry, the first thing we want to suggest that you do is that you have some lemon water. Now, there's lots of good reasons why to have lemon water, and I've given you a list of reasons in the column to the left. But the most important reason right now that we're suggesting lemon water has to do with waking up hungry and the fact that lemons have pectin fiber, and this is going to really dramatically impact your hunger factor. So it will decrease your appetite and help to stave off that nagging urge to want to get up and eat right away. So this can buy you more fasting time if you begin your day with lemon water. Next, we want to suggest that you wait about a half an hour to an hour and mix up barley grass powder with either coconut water or apple juice and blend that up. And we call this a barley blast. Now, for those of you who have never had barley grass powder and perhaps you're concerned about gluten intolerance, not to worry. Barley grass powder is a different thing completely than the grain barley. So it's absolutely gluten free, 100% gluten free. And what you do is you just blend this up and knock it back real quick. Don't eat it with any other things other than the two things we suggested, either or plain water, coconut water, or apple juice is fine. You could do it with carrot juice, but not anything acidic like pineapple juice or tomato juice. And then you want to start out with a quarter teaspoon if you've never done this before. And ideally, you're going to graduate up to 1 teaspoon. And if you can do it, 1 teaspoon 3 times a day is best. Now, something to note about barley grass is that it's one of those top 10s that we've suggested you include because it's an immune system builder, a detoxifier, and a blood purifier. So it's a great addition to a detox or a fast. This is the barley grass that I've been promoting and distributing for years. And if you're interested in purchasing the one that we love, here's the website address to purchase that. At the end of the webinar, we'll be telling you how you can access the top 10 pure nourishing recipes for easy intermittent fasting. And in there, we have some great juice and smoothie recipes as well. Feel free throughout the day to have any fresh juices, teas, and vitamin mineral water tonics. And now I'm going to share with you our best kept secret. Our Pure Fast Detox broth is just such a lifesaver. It's super, super delicious, filled with great nutrition, and it just feels so nourishing and helps to stretch out your fasting day. You could feel free to switch this out for a bone broth if you're, say, paleo, but if you're vegan, you're going to really, really love this. Everybody really loves this most of the time. So just follow the ingredients, make this up ahead of time, and have it ready to go, waiting for you when you begin your fast. I would suggest you go shopping a day ahead of time, get all your ingredients, make your broth, have everything waiting so that you're very, very organized and you know exactly where to go to get what you need on your detox fasting days. Okay, so you might be wondering, what if I get too hungry or my blood sugar starts to crash? Here is what you can do. So always keep on hand some coconut oil, even avocado oil into your smoothies, into your juices. It could be Udo's Choice Blend oil, which is a really good blend that you can find in the refrigerator section of most health food stores. You could have a little bit of nuts and seeds if you needed to. Have more lemon water, and to just switch it up a little bit, add a little ginger and mint to that water. Take 1 to 2 teaspoons of chia seeds and let them soak in any liquid of your choice and wait till it swells up a little bit, about 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and then drink that. And you're going to feel a lot fuller because the chia seeds will expand. Plus, they're a good source of the omega-3 fats. So, whenever you add a little bit of healthy fat into your drinks, it's really going to slow down that whole blood sugar crashing thing. And we highly recommend that you add MUFA fats into your 3 days. So, MUFA fat is a monounsaturated fatty acid. And let me give you some examples. So, you could let's say you're really, really hungry. It's more important for you to keep your blood sugar balanced than it is to prolong your fast. So I'm going to say that again. It's more important to keep your blood sugar balanced than it is to prolong your fast. So even if you have to stop and have a teaspoon or two of nut butter, that's fine. Or you could eat 10 olives or eat a quarter avocado or have 2 teaspoons of olive oil or 2 teaspoons of nuts. Do whatever you need to keep your blood sugar balanced. You can also keep some hard boiled eggs ready to go so that if you're having a blood sugar crash, that's a great form of protein that will help to balance you out, especially if you are metabolically a protein type. Now, if you're vegan, an option for you would be to use some of the cacao mint spirulina. Spirulina is one of the top 10 foods we're encouraging you to incorporate. And much like barley grass, it is a blood purifier, an immune system builder, and a detoxifier. And it's the best form of plant protein. It's a complete whole food. It has all of your vitamins and minerals in it with some of the omega fats. It's a great, great superfood. So you can add that to your smoothies, to your juices. The cacao mint really helps to mask the flavor of the spirulina. So if you're not a big lover of how spirulina tastes, you've got to try this form of it. It's fabulous. And a special little bonus surprise that we're going to include in your recipe download is some spirulina butter fudge balls. So you got to check that out too. At the end of the third day of your 3-day challenge, sit back and reflect. Jot down in your personal journal what you have noticed in this process. Perhaps you will notice that coffee, chocolate, and sugar have been propping you up, getting you through your days. Here's what one of our members, Susan, who's a nurse, said. My biggest aha was accepting that I am a sugar carb addict. Being off of them allowed my taste buds to change and for me to appreciate new flavors. I tried a friend's fudge and it was too much. Kind of a freeing experience. It has been great to take a look at myself. Thank you for this amazing opportunity to learn and grow. If after doing the 3-day challenge has been easy for you, then that might be all you need to get you back on track. However, if it is difficult, then you might be ready to go deeper. Perhaps the 3-day challenge will bring to the forefront that you have food or sugar addiction and you're ready to get set free. So let me ask you, why did you show up today? Do you want to lose weight, feel more at ease in your body, have more energy and vitality? Or did you show up because you're curious about intermittent fasting or you're frustrated with your out of control eating? Did you show up because you want to kick sugar and or food addiction or you feel disgusted and desperate? Or perhaps you just want to be told what to do and how to do it. Or maybe you have a dysfunctional relationship with food and it's time to deal with it. How do you know if you have a dysfunctional relationship with food, you might ask? Well, it could be that you have constant mind chatter or compulsive thoughts about food, or you have a secret love affair with food, especially when distressed. Or perhaps the thought of going cold turkey on sugar freaks you out. That's a sure sign that you have a dysfunctional relationship with food. Have you gained and lost and gained and lost several times from yo-yo dieting or binge eating? Do you long to be free yet overwhelmed since nothing has worked? Or are most of your meals heat and eat and repeat or pre-made or takeout? All of the things I just mentioned point to a dysfunctional relationship with food, but now here's one that is really critical to pay attention to. Have you ever experienced a direct correlation with how poor food choices result in making you feel unwell, and yet you continue to eat these foods anyway? Now, that should be a really big red flag for you. Because despite knowing better, you continue to choose unhealthy choices that set you up. Transformation begins in your mind, and it's all about choice. And this is where coaching really comes in handy. So let me ask you, are you up for the Pure Fast Detox 3-day challenge? If you are, we want to encourage you to join us on our Facebook page. And this is a private group page for everyone who's doing the Pure Fast Detox. And you go to www.facebook.com/groups/3-day Pure Fast Detox. Just request to be added as a member. And this is your go to place to ask questions, to get answers, to support one another, to share great recipes that you might want to share with one another, great juice recipes or broth recipes. Okay, so you might be thinking, how is a 3-day challenge really going to help me to accomplish my long term goals? Well, that's a really good question. It's a great start, but honestly, you have to drill deeper if you truly want lasting, life changing results and transformation, especially if you have food and sugar addiction. Here's the thing, if you always do what you have always done, you will always get what you have always gotten. However, if you're truly ready to transform your relationship with food, then we have some other strategic and timely options to offer you that produce life changing results. Our Pure Fast and Listen online self paced study course teaches a comprehensive step by step way to transform your relationship with food so that you can love your body, feel fantastic, and finally be free from sugar and food addiction. This 6-module course comes with a total of over 40 videos, and each video is less than 15 minutes long, so it's really easy to fit it in your busy life. Each module contains 3 different types of videos. To lay the foundation for each module, we begin with teaching you nutritional science education. These videos are presented by Jeff, and I think you'll find that his science and engineering background and his exceptional ability to do thorough research will provide you with really good, solid foundational information to give you the basis of understanding exactly why and what you're doing with intermittent fasting and why it's important to eat the right fats and why it's important to eat pure food. The second type of video that's in each module is step-by-step how-to coaching and inspiration. And this really helps to support and encourage you with what goes on behind the scenes for you that might perhaps sabotage your success. Remember, it all begins in your mind. After working with people in both groups and individually for over 20 years, these videos will show you my top coaching tips and strategies. And the third type of video that's included in every module are several videos of hands-on demonstrations showing you step by step how to make pure healthy food easy and doable. Here's just a quick look at what each module contains so that you can see that the course is very, very comprehensive and typically, like I said, takes about 1 week per module to get through all the different lessons. For those of you who are serious about transforming your relationship with food, the Pure Fast and Listen course is an online training that is available 24/7 with instant access as soon as you purchase it. And you can repeat the course as many times as you like forever for free. The self-paced course gives you the ability to work on it whenever it fits into your schedule. And there's also a private online forum and support Facebook group that comes with this course for questions and answers and the latest recipes and updates. Additionally, the course comes with its own shopping guide and daily logs, as well as all 3 ebooks and study guides shown here. No matter if you've ever done fasting before or if you have years of vast experience, there's always more to learn about intermittent fasting and intuitive eating and using pure food. Here's what one of our members had to say. Robin, who is a raw chef and a natural hygiene coach, said that the more she practiced listening to myself and making conscious choices, the better and more empowered I feel. I've learned so much about intermittent fasting, nutrition, and how to stay focused and on track and prepare for success, as well as practical things from the Facebook forums and other people's comments as well. Kath from Cumbria shares her incredible transformation. First, she was delighted to be able to take this course along with her husband, and aside from the typical weight loss and brain fog getting cleared and her blood sugar issues all resolving, Kath had actually been taking medicine for acid reflux, which sadly caused her to lose some of her hearing and caused her to have to wear hearing aids. And the great thing was that after she finished our course, she no longer was on any medicines whatsoever and stopped having to wear hearing aids. The Pure Fast and Listen course normally sells on our website for $197. However, if you take fast action, we will offer you this course for a one-time offer for $97. This is a 14-day, 100% risk-free money-back guarantee. To join right away, just go to purehealthyway.com/join and receive the fast action bonus for $97 for the entire 6-module Pure Fast and Listen online study course. When you arrive there, you'll see this picture that I have in a screenshot on the left, and then just scroll down until you see the green arrow and go ahead and hit yes, I'm in. Then simply fill in the order form and you can purchase via PayPal. Even if you don't have a PayPal account, you can securely feel confident using your credit card or debit card, and then you'll instantly get an email confirmation with your login details. Now, as promised, if you would like to receive our free Pure Fast Detox guidebook that includes the approved shopping list, as well as our extra takeaway bonus of the top 10 pure nourishing recipes for easy intermittent fasting, simply send us an email at info@purehealthyway.com with your best email for us to send you the links for these downloads. And all you have to do is put the word links in the subject, and then we will send you the links for the downloads. Thanks so much for taking time out of your life to watch the Pure Fast Detox webinar. And please feel free if you want to share this webinar with any of your friends or coworkers or family members who you think might be interested. Again, thanks so much for your time today. And remember, when you eat pure, you're going to feel fantastic.